Now, ReZero is my favorite anime of all time, and I've been reading a fanfic of it called The King of Pride, and it's honestly one of the best stories I've ever read in a long time. It's over 1,000,000 words long and just reimagines the world of ReZero, and it does so by stripping away its core mechanic, Return by Death, and it replaces it with a completely different approach to Subaru's growth. One that's just much more focused and confidence, deduction, romance, and an almost game-like mastery of his environment. But from the beginning, Subaru is granted the authority of pride, hence the name, and it gives him some different abilities. One allows him to stop time and analyze the world with near supernatural clarity, offering him a hyper-intelligent, like Sherlock Holmes style edge, rather than a crutch to fall on after death. He calls this reason and judgment, but he can't stop time and move around. He can stop time, but he stops as well. It just allows him to analyze the situation around him and just figure out what his next best move is. He also gets an ability called Indomitable, which basically makes him invulnerable to everything, and also make him invulnerable to everything else, which means he can basically just destroy anything with a punch. But the ability itself only lasts for 5 seconds and has a cooldown for about 30 seconds. This change just flips the emotional foundation of the original story, and instead of trauma, grief, and hopelessness being his motivators, Subaru becomes a confident, charismatic figure who isn't dragged down by despair, but is pushed forward by purpose and, well, pride. The fic itself doesn't waste any time on lengthy internal self-loathing monologues or endless death loops. Instead, it just lets Subaru actively shape the world around him. And this story just goes in depth into its characters and just gives them as much screen or reading time as it does Subaru. But the main driving point of why this story is so good is because it focuses so much more on Subaru and Emilia's relationship. It gives it so much more depth, explores it much more, and it's basically just all what this series is about. The author themselves literally stated that's the point of why they wrote this story, is because they wanted a much more developed relationship between Subaru and Emilia, as they say that in the main story it kind of feels underdeveloped for how long the story actually is. And the relationship between Subaru and Emilia is so well written that it's fucking crazy. But it also gives that amount of time and effort to other characters, especially Reinhardt and Felt. The author also leans heavily into Subaru's cleverness, with scenes where he uses deductive reasoning to track down a thief based on spatial awareness, the smell of soap, and just behavioral tics, turning mundane interactions into opportunities to showcase his brilliance. The world building is also crazy. It's detailed, grounded, and it has so much to offer, and it just jumps straight into it. With diving into Lagunaga right away, but right now at the point of the story I'm in, it's heavily focusing on Gusteko, but it also mentions Wallachia and Karagi. And as the story goes on, I know it'll focus on those countries as much as it's focused on the current countries. And what sets this story apart from others is that it could very well be just as good as the main anime itself.